Hello guys, welcome to the session on lists in Python. In this session, you will be learning about what is a list and what are the different types of operations which we can perform on list based on some inbuilt methods in Python. And also, what is two-dimensional list and how we can access two-dimensional list in Python. So, what is a list? List is a collection of objects of different data types accessed by a single name. Means a list is a collection of different data type objects like a string or a number or a tuple or a list or whatever it is. Different types of objects used to refer by a single name. List is of collection data type and also called container type. Container type in the sense a group of different objects put it in a box, like we call it as a container type. List are mutable type, means you can add or remove elements in the list. And also you can access the objects in a list using index position based on the order of elements saved in a list. List allows to have a duplicate objects, means you can have more than one element of same type or same value. Okay, all these elements in the list maintain in its order until we modify, means either we can delete or add, the index values will get changed accordingly. Okay, so now we'll see what are the different operations which we can perform using some inbuilt methods in Python. The first one is insert. We can insert an element into a existing list. We can append an element into an existing list, and we can remove an element from a list, and then you can reverse the elements inside a list in the reverse order, like end element will come first and like that. Okay, and then sorting a list. We sort the elements inside a list using sort. And also popping up means you can remove an element from a list. You can find a length of a list. These are all the different operations you can perform on list. Let's open our PyCharm IDE and create few lists, and then we can try to implement all these operations on list. Okay, so we have our PyCharm IDE ready. Let's get started by creating a simple list here. So let's say we have countries equal to, list can be created using square brackets, right? So in that I mentioned like India, USA, UK and China. Okay, so if I hit enter, it will be created. So here if you see under show variable section, we have a countries is of type list having 4 elements inside. So those are India, USA, UK and China. So we have created our first list. If you want to display, you can simply give the list name here. So it will display the list of items available inside the countries. So once we created, how we wanted to access the element. Usually the elements inside a list can be accessed based on its index position. So let's say usual index position starts with 0 and it will go on till the end of a item, right? So if there are n number of things, there will be n minus 1 index positions. Okay, so if you wanted to access the first element of a list, simply you can give countries within the square brackets. You can mention 0 so that you will be getting the first element of a list. So basically indexes are starting from 0 to n minus 1, right? So if you wanted to get a last item, you can simply give countries in the square brackets. If you give -1, it will return the last element of a list. Okay, so if you give a negative index, it will return from last. If you give a positive index starting from 0, you'll be getting from the first of a list. Countries, if you give -2, you'll get last but item. If you give an starting and ending position, then you'll get a list of items inside a list. If you don't mention anything, if you hit enter, it will return all the elements. Just because you haven't mentioned any starting position and ending position, Python will consider the starting position as 0, ending position would be the last element of that particular list. Okay, this is how you can access the elements inside a list using its index position. Now let's create a list using some other iterable. So here you'll be able to create another list by using some other iterable. Iterable in the sense the object which is allowed to iterate over its elements, and it can allow to read one after the other. So this is called iterable object inside Python. We have tuple, list and dictionaries is of such iterable type. So if you wanted to create a list by using some other iterable like a list, set or dictionary, you can create a tuple first and you can create a list by using list function in Python. So let's say I have a tuple here. Tuples can be created using parentheses. If I say 1, 2, 3 and 4, hit enter, we have tuple created. You can check the type of a tuple here. Tuple is of tuple type with 4 elements. So here I just gave the name itself actually tuple, but in real time scenarios you can use a proper meaningful name there, like a tuple name or the num tuple or something like that. Okay, so you can give the proper naming to a variable or to a tuple or set. Okay, now I wanted to create a list using tuple. How I can create? So we have a numbers inside a tuple, right? So I just want to create num list is of, you can use list function and you can mention the tuple name here. If you hit enter, all the items inside a tuple will be copied to a new list called num list. Here if you see, num list is actually created is of list type with 4 elements. Those are nothing but the elements inside a tuple 1 2 3 4. Now if you print, you can see the elements of a list. Okay, similarly you can access all these things by using an index position. Okay, so we have created a list and we able to create a list using other items, and we'll be able to access the items inside a list. If suppose if you wanted to add after the creation of a list, if you wanted to add an item to a list, how you can do that is simply by using append function. In Python we have an append function which will allow us to add items to a list. How we can add is simply num list dot append. I wanted to add 5 to the list. If I add like this, hit enter. Now if you print and num list and see, we have the item number 5 available inside num list. If suppose if you wanted to add more than one item, so if you are going to add only one item, you can use append. At the end of the list you can append that as the last item. But if you want to add more than one item at the end of the list, you can do so by using extend function. So we have an extend function which will allow us to add more than one item. Okay, how you can add is simply you can give inside a square brackets how many number of elements you wanted to add. So I wanted to add 6 7 and 8. So if I hit enter, it will add 6 7 8 at the end of the existing num list. Now if you print and see, you will get all the items including 6 7 and 8. Okay, there is another way of adding more than one element at the end of the list using plus equal to operator. Num list plus equal to, if I want to add 9 comma 10, if I hit enter, it will add 9 and 10 at the end of the num list. Now if you see num list, you can have 9 and 10 as well inside a list. Okay, this is how you can add more than one element using extend and with plus equal to operator, and then you can add single element using append function. Okay, this is how you can add elements to your list. And then if you wanted to add in a specific position, like I wanted to add an element inside an index position 5, so how I can add is simply by specifying a index. How I can do it using an insert. So num list insert, within the brackets you need to specify the position first. I wanted to insert at position 5 and this will be my element. Okay, if I hit enter, it will insert item number 11 at 5th position. Now if you print and see, you will see 11th is actually inserted at 5th position. 0 1 2 3 4 and 5th position is actually 11. Okay, this is how you can add an element inside a list using insert function inside a specific position. Okay, the other thing is you can find an element first occurrence inside a list. How you can find is, if you give an element name here, numList.index, within the brackets if you give the element name here, it will return the index position of that particular element. So if you give 11, it will return 5. If you know the element name but don't know the index, you can get the index value based on its index position by using a index function. You can sort all the elements inside a list using sort function. So we have our num list like this, right? So we have 11 in middle, and but rest of the things actually we created in a sequence, so all those things are in sorted order, but in middle at 5th position we have 11. So if you wanted to sort it, simply what you can do, num list dot sort. If we give like this, all the elements inside a list will be sorted. You can do a reverse sorter also, num list using reverse. Hit enter, all the elements will be in reverse order now. And then as you have created all the elements is of numeric type, you can perform sum and you can be able to find the minimum number and minimum element and the maximum element as well. So if you wanted to sum all the elements inside a num list, you can simply give sum and provide the list name. You will get a sum of all the elements. You can get minimum of num list using minimum function. You'll get the least element, and you can get max num list. You'll get the maximum element inside the list. Okay, this is how you can do minimum maximum. You can be able to find minimum maximum and total sum of each and every element. Okay, so far we have created 2 3 lists, and then using another iterable we created a list, right? Now you can have a nested list as well. Okay, now you see we have 2 lists here. We have num list and then countries here. A new list would be final list equal to, within brackets I would say 1 comma 2 comma, I can mention like countries and num list. Okay, if I hit enter, there will be a final list. You can see the final list here, which is of 4 elements. That is nothing but 1 and 2, and then another list countries. Within that we have a nested list here, and another list is having num list. So you can have a nested list inside a list. Okay, this is how you can create a list with 2 or more list. And now there is another concept of two-dimensional list. Okay, let's say for example list 1 equal to, I created 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, and there is another list equal to 4 comma 5 comma 6, and another list 3 equal to 7 comma 8 comma 9. Okay, this is of 3 different lists. Now what I can do, I can have a nested list here. So if I say two-dimensional list, okay, equal to, what I can do, I can simply give list 1, list 2 and list 3. Okay, so you'll be getting the dim list is of list type here with 3 elements only, but nested list. Okay, now if you print dim list, you'll be getting 3 different lists. Okay, now you know the concept of matrix in mathematics. It is of rows and columns, right? So row by columns. So let's say if I print the same dim list in a different way, for x in dim list print x, if I hit, it will print the items in a matrix form. You can see here the first row, second row and third row. If you consider in the column, this is the 1 4 and 7 is in first column, 2 5 8 in second column, and 3 6 and 9 on third column. Okay, so if you wanted to access, this is a kind of two-dimensional list. Okay, if you wanted to access an element inside a two-dimensional list, basically how you can access is, you need to provide an index position of a row and index position of a column, so you will be getting the corresponding element inside a two-dimensional list. Now let's try to access an element. Okay, let's say we wanted to access number 5, which is of row number 2 and column number 2, right? But the position, index position always start from 0 1 and 2, right? So now if you give dim list 1 and then again 1, if you give, you'll be getting the value as 5. If you give like this, you'll be getting the value as 9. List 1, list 2, list 3, right? I wanted to add some list, I mean it will create a kind of, all the items inside list into one list. Okay, instead of having a nested list, all the items will be copied to a new list, like list 1 plus list 2 plus list 3. If you hit enter, so now you see some list is of having all the elements of list 1 2 and 3. It's of single list having 9 elements. Okay, so this is how you can create or copy of other list into a single list. Now, so far we have created and have seen nested list, we have done some operations on list. Now, if you wanted to delete, delete an item, okay, how you can do that? Based on its index position you can do, or else you can go with last element deletion by default. Okay. Now in Python we have a pop function, okay, which will allow us to delete an item based on its index or else the last element of a list. If suppose if I give some list dot pop without providing any index, if I hit, it will delete the last item inside a list and it will display whatever the item deleted. Okay. Now if you see some list 9 won't be available. Okay. But if you want to delete number 4, okay, which is of at index position 3, now some list dot pop, if you give 3, it will delete item number 4 and it will display the value of that particular position. So now if you print and see, the item 4 won't be available. Okay, this is how you can delete last element without defining any index using pop, and you can specify an index and then you can delete an item. Okay, there is another way is actually you can remove it. Okay, some list dot remove, simply give the item, which item you wanted to remove, that item name. So I want to delete 7. If I hit now some list, if you see 7 won't be available. Okay, this is how you can delete a specific element without there is no need of any indexing and all that. Simply provide a element name, it will be deleted using remove function. So there is another way you can delete based on index using del keyword. Okay, suppose I want to delete some list. I wanted to uh, I want to delete it. This index position 4. Okay, if I give 4, what will be deleted? 6 will be deleted. So now if you print some list, 6 won't be available because 6 is available at index position 4. So even you can delete a set of items using starting and ending position. Let's say del sum list. Within that, I want to delete from 0 to 2. So what it will do, it will delete 0 and 1. Okay. Now if you print sum list, it will delete 1 and 2. Okay. So now you have only 3 elements, 3, 5 and 8. Okay, this is how you can delete. So we have another function called clear function. If you simply give clear function, all the elements inside a list can be deleted. Let's say some list dot clear. If you simply give and hit enter, all the elements inside a list can be deleted. Now if you print some list, it will return an empty list. Okay, there is no items. Even if you see some list here, it is of list type but 0 element. So if you want to delete a list totally, simply provide del keyword some list. If you hit enter, it will totally delete it. So even if you have an items inside, everything will be deleted. Now if you try to print some list, it will return saying some list is not actually defined. Even you can see there is no some list under show variable section. Okay, this is how you can perform different kinds of operation on lists. So with this we come to an end of this session on list and hope you like my session. Have not subscribed to my video channel, please do subscribe and click on the bell notification appearing next to the subscription button so as to receive notifications as and when I upload new video related to Python programming. And also please do like, share and post your feedback, or if you have any queries under comment section below, I will see and respond you back. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next session.